What's up, friend? Welcome to Grow Your Video Business. This is the show for video business owners that want to learn how to get paid what they're worth, run a smarter business, and live a better life. I'm Ryan Coral, your host from Studio Sherpas. In today's episode with Trevor, you're going to learn how using a subscription to grow a video business is something to consider. You're also going to learn the value of a niche, and we talk about avoiding nickel and diming your clients in an alternative thing to do instead, and then also the importance of learning from your clients. Today, I am talking with video business owner Trevor Rappley, who had a huge year last year, despite all of the challenges that we all faced. There is a lot to learn, to take away from this conversation, and I am super excited for you to hear the different ways that Trevor is growing his video business so that you can apply some of the same things that he's doing in his business to your own business. Also, do not forget that we are offering a free workshop where I share the 4 magic questions that will help you get your client's budget without coming across weird or salesy, unless you're just like weird anyway. So this is the same strategy that I've been using for years now, and it's the same strategy that so many inside of the Studio Sherpas community have been using too. It helps speed up the sales process. It helps you work with right fit clients with the right size budget, and it serves everyone well when you can help guide a client through this process. You can get access to the workshop if you go to studiosherpas.com/budget. I would love for you to have that and get access to that. With that, let's jump into this episode of the show. If there was one thing that could have ended my business 17 years ago, it would be because of the numbers. I hate accounting. Taxes, W-9s, W-2s, W-40s, spreadsheets, all of that stuff. And I hate it mostly because I'm afraid of it. I'm just not great with numbers. If this sounds familiar, or if you're so new in your business that it's not even on your radar yet, you need Core Group. Core Group can help you create financial systems and tax strategies that you need so you can grow profitably, and they've been doing this for over 20 years. They become an extension of your team so that you can stay in your lane of expertise and then lean on them to help guide you along the way. For me, having a team of experts in my corner to help keep track of our books and just to make sure that we're budgeting for taxes appropriately, to have an actual strategy for our taxes and our accounting is priceless, and it allows me to sleep easier at night knowing that I don't have to be an expert in that arena. If you want to avoid surprises in your video business and you want experienced help building a plan for the future that you want, both professionally and personally, head over to studiosherpas.com/core for more information. And when you're ready to set up a free consult with them, make sure to mention Studio Sherpas for a special discount too. Got your back. Get more out of your accountant. Go to studiosherpas.com/core. What is up, friends? Hey, welcome to this episode of the podcast. Today, my guest is Trevor Rappley, who is the CEO of corporatefilmmaking.com and franchisefilming.com, where they create monthly videos on their VIP subscription model for their clients. No travel fees and videos done in just 10 days. He started his first. I'm laughing because this is the 3rd time we've done this intro and we're just going with it. Trevor, you're the man. I just can't read, but
you're all good.
Trevor did start his first business when he was only 13, and he started filming weddings when he was 15. He has worked with clients such as CVS, Home Depot, Neighborly, and more. Trevor, welcome one more time to the show.
Thank you for having me on. I don't think people know what it takes to put on things like this. So you're all good. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. And I'm not sure that's ever happened before, but that's kind of amazing. Hopefully this isn't your first time listening to the show because, wow.
All good.
Yeah. So Trevor, what is the thing about the work that you do today that you just love so much?
Ryan, I love that. I mean, I love filming corporate videos that have no script. It is one of my favorite things, is to sit back and ask someone, do you love what you do? Why should somebody work for this company? Why should they buy what you sell? And just ask questions on these videos. It's one of my favorite things.
And where does that come from?
I mean, so it's so funny. It comes from weddings. I started filming weddings when I was like 15. I had my first company, eventfilming.net, when I was 15. I paid $8 a year for it. And I'm just like, I just fell in love with weddings. And in high school and college, I kept seeing these wedding videos and they were beautiful, but there was no voice. There was no story. It was just this beautiful video. But I'm like, where's the bride's voice? Where's the husband's voice? Where's the dad's emotions that he's giving his daughter away? Like, that's where I fell in love with asking questions. One of my favorite things to ask during a wedding video was, what's going to be going through your head when you see her walk down the aisle? And that has translated into B2B videos, is asking questions.
So what does that look like? It's the whole model that you have, I think, is so unique. Tell us more about that. I'm sure our listeners are like, what, a subscription model in 10 days? Like,
Yeah,
sound crazy.
man, Ryan, I woke up one day and I'm like, okay, it takes me months to close one deal, right? Then they don't come back to me. So why don't I ask them for a discounted rate if we can create monthly videos for them? And what I found out, Ryan, is I was able to close deals faster because I'm not saying that we do one-off films. I'm saying, hey, give us one rate per year and we will create 24 to 48 marketing films for you a year. So they don't have to beg their boss for new films. They don't have to beg anything. They have to beg once a year. And that's where the subscription model was born. And for any filmmakers listening, you know that you only use 20% of the footage you shot. So we're actually doing our clients a disservice by only editing one piece of video. That's where all that came from.
So what does it look like? Your approach, I mean, you're doing some kind of an interview because that's what you're excited and passionate about. You're shooting some B-roll, but do you have like a pretty consistent approach to how you work with clients?
Yeah. So I think we all forget how we are not supposed to add time and add hassle to our clients' plates. But I think we all do in an unintentional way. Like, what kind of video do you want? Like, what should be in the video? What should the topic be about? It's like, well, do some research and present that to them, right? So what the subscription model does is the package that we get booked the most, Ryan, is 4 filming days a year with 2 films a month. So they send us somewhere 4 times a year. On that day, we create 6 pieces of content for them on that day. And it's actual interviews of successful people that are happy with that brand. And we create 60-second spots from that. So basically, every month, our clients wake up and they have 2 new films, and it's high quality films. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. 2 high quality films, 4 a month with zero hassle. That's what we do.
Yeah. Zero hassle. That's like, I love that line. So are these all like, testimonial? They're all that.
So I miss, Ryan. I miss weddings. I miss those doc style videos. I miss all that stuff. But what I have found that clients and businesses want the most is they just want social proof that their business actually works. So what is better than that than having a customer talk about it? Because no one cares what I think about what I do. Like, they don't care. They care what my customers think about what we do. And that's the main thing that we do, is we get customers on film on a consistent basis.
And I don't know if this is my rub or whatever, but I've been doing this work for 17 years. And whenever we end up doing testimonials, I always feel like they sound canned. They feel similar, only until we started, doing these kind of like Zoom testimonials where we're just, or we're using video ask and people can submit. And so they're shot on an iPhone. The production quality doesn't look the same. And they're not just talking about like how awesome, we are, or whoever, the client is, but they're talking about like what you're saying, transformation. Tell me more about like how you guys, and maybe they do feel canned and you're like, no, that works for our clients. It works for what we're trying to do.
So I think we have yet to have that happen, Ryan. And I say that, and it sounds like a lie, but it's not. But it's because it can't be can't be canned if we are asking them to answer something. So we have a strict rule. We do not allow scripts. We do not allow to, we don't even give them the questions before we arrive, because them saying an authentic answer, it literally cannot be canned. Like, so we have yet to have it where somebody sounds bad because it's their authentic answer.
And your approach for those, does the client say like, hey, we know these 3 clients are super happy, you should interview them. They've had success in these areas. Are they kind of setting you up so that you're building your questions around that, or how does that part of the process work?
Yeah. So a lot of the questions I get is like, what do you mean you can make us a marketing video if we don't script it? And I totally get that. What I tell people is I ask them one thing, tell me your end marketing goal. And if their end marketing goal is to sell more franchises, then we will ask 10 to 15 questions around that. So why did you start a franchise? What do you like about the franchise? Do you get to see your kids more now that you own a franchise? Are you happier with this franchise? It allows these such authentic emotional answers that I'm on set sometimes. I'm like, damn, I want to work for this franchise. Like, that's so cool. And because it doesn't allow corporations to script the answer they want, it allows the person to actually answer in their words.
Mm. And what do these packages range from? Like, how do you, it sounds like you built packages and people can kind of self-select.
Mm-hmm. So I have a full-time team of 8. And so we used to win on the lowest value, the lowest price point, right? And we all go through that, right? We always want to get work under our belt. But the minute I realized years ago, we started investing a lot in expos, virtual shows, booths. So our one-off films start at about 10,000, and our monthly subscription models start at a yearly price at about 50,000. So it's a higher price point, but we are in front of these people that's nothing to them, because they want to sell a franchise where the company will make 200,000 from it if our video gets them one new one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's exciting. I don't know, it's a couple of years ago, but we were talking with someone who was working with franchisees, and this model that you have, they were like, hey, this is a smart industry to get into, franchises and creating, testimonials, trying to build the excitement for people to say, hey, we should open a Chick-fil-A, or,
Mm-hmm.
so I love that you guys, how did you like land in this niche? Because, there's 8 bazillion different, obviously you were doing weddings and
Yeah.
at some point transition to doing what you guys are doing today.
I think, Ryan, it comes down to, there's a book I read, and I'm gonna hopefully explain this book right. And the book is called "If You're in a Dogfight, Be a Cat." And the whole saying is, if there's a dogfight and there's 100 people fighting, why would you go and fight in that? Go be a cat in another industry where there's no dogfights. And it's very kind of corny, but that made me be like, wow, everybody films weddings. And I believe that you do have to begin in that realm as like a filmmaker. You do have to get that experience, because you learn more I think wedding days are harder to film than B2B videos. I think they're 100 times harder,
Hands down.
right? But they're 10 times less revenue, and they don't ever come back to you. So that's where that came from. But with the franchising space, we had a client back in 2017 We did a franchise video for him because he found us on Google back when we were paying, $15 for a singular PPC click, right? He said, hey, you should really go to the IFA. And I looked at tickets. They were like $2,000. I'm like, Mike, there is no way. No. And he goes, well, okay. And I looked at who was going. I'm like, wow, there's no film teams there. But we all go back to the niches, or the riches are in the niches, right? I think that's saying. But it's so much harder to win in that niche. So we've been trying to get in this niche for like 3 or 4 years. We're finally in it. We bought franchisefilming.com, which is basically just a branding play. It's the same team, the same phone number, the same, but it's a branding play. So when they hear us, they're like, wow, franchise filming, they must know franchise videos. I need to go with them. So that's where that came from. And it comes down to, Ryan, we sometimes pay 2, 3, 4, 10,000 to attend these shows. Most filmmakers aren't willing to make that risk. I am, because I know I can close deals there.
Mm. That's cool. I know one of the things for you, man, that's a lot of money. I know it, from the
It
world
is.
I come from, thinking about spending, $10,000 to go to an event where I hope I get some work is like, woo, man.
It's a lot. It's risky,
It's risky.
right? But Ryan, it comes down to, if you have a product but no one knows it exists, then you actually have nothing. And that woke me up to be like, if I'm not spending money on Google or Facebook or expos, how are people going to find us? And with expos, people come to you. You don't have to cold call them. So
Yeah. I know for you, one of your frustrations, or I'm assuming based on the
mhm.
little interaction that we had prior to this episode, is how we tend to charge little fees, right? They're in the selling process. There are, upsells here, things there. Talk a little bit about where that frustration comes from and how you guys don't do that.
So how annoyed do we all get, Ryan, when you pay $30 for like a bag fee, or you pay $30 for a resort fee? So you go into this hotel thinking they're just stabbing you, when just increase your prices by $30. Like, the minute that I would get kind of shot down, Trevor, how do you not charge mileage, or how do you not charge them if you stay an extra half hour, or how do you not charge them for an extra DVD? I'm going back to 2010, right? And I'm like, well, first off, that DVD is 10 cents. Like, do I really want to ask someone that paid me 4,000 for a wedding video, give me an extra $100 for a DVD? Surprise them and mail it to them. Just stop nickel and diming people that are listening, and you will be able to close more sales because you've simplified your model. Like, no one cares that your gas is $25. Like no one cares. Like, no one cares that the shipping of the hard drive is going to cost your company $8. Just include it in the dang amount. Raise your price today by $100 and never charge anyone another extra fee. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I remember, especially back when we were doing weddings, especially when I started day one, and we had our first job. It was like an hour and 15 minutes away, and so I'm just like, calculating what's the government reimburse and all this, and yeah, I totally resonate with that, and I'm glad at some point for me we realized that, shoot, we should just raise our prices a little bit. And then granted, there might be some people that see that price point and say no thanks, but the people that do see it and say like, yeah, this is great, then they're going to feel even better that you don't come back to them and be like, oh, hey, also, can you reimburse us the $30 or the $10 that it costs to park at the, that's just your experience.
And Ryan, yes. Flip side is, I could hear people saying, how come I'm losing out on $10? Yes, you're right. You're right. You should lose out on $10 to park at their to park to film. But think about the conversations they're having with their boss or with their husband or with their marketing. Wait, I thought it was 2,000. Now I have to go through accounts payable and get out my credit card and send an invoice. and then send you you're saving them hassle. Like, Ryan, the moment I realized people only remember the last thing that we do, you start to be like, do I really want the last feeling they have to be a feeling of annoyance
Mm.
and $20, $50? If we're talking like wave, take a small hit now and they will come back if you've just simplified it. Because now when they write to you and they want to use you again, they're like, man, is this going to be 300 for mileage? Is this going to be like, if they know your rate is your rate, whether you film in California, US, like we have a flat rate no matter where we film, and we gain margin when we film local, we lose margin when we go somewhere, but in the end, it all evens out because they come back to us
Mm. Yeah,
because we've
I think
simplified it.
one of the I hope one of the takeaways for people, because
Hmm.
I think there are some things that you can present as like, oh, more than that, or a client may even say like, oh, I feel like you're nickel and diming me. But if you agree to shoot one day and the client wants another day, you don't just throw in another day of shooting, right? It's
You,
the things that you're like, well, I mean, yeah, this doesn't really cost that much. It's a couple $100. Can you raise your price a couple $100 and include the things that normally always
mhm.
get added anyway? Like what are those things that you usually get requests for? That's not a significant amount of money. That's not going to go from this to that, and people are going to be like, holy cow! But to include it,
Mhm.
as Trevor's saying, and for the client to not even feel it, so that you're giving them that better experience. I think that's at least one
And
good
you
thing.
nailed it. And use the word feel. That people come back based on how you make them feel, not on what you created, not on what your final price point was. How did you make them feel? Was it easy? Did you work with them? Yes. If someone wants another filming day where you have to get another crew, charge them. No. But I would also flip it on yourself, is did you set expectations that you may had to have added a second filming day? I think that's on the filmer. Like, they should know that you need that. It shouldn't be this, oh, your video is not going to get completed unless we film a second day. So it's all about setting expectations. And the fees I'm talking about waiving are parking, music license. If they want a third edit and it's going to take you 20 minutes, it will take you longer to convince them to pay you a re-edit fee than if you were to just have made the edit and just said, hey, you're awesome. I'm not going to bill you, but hey, if you ask me again, I'm going to have to bill you. So we have a saying here that whatever is in the contract, my team can do it one more time and then we bill them. So we waive it once. Hey, we're going to waive it once because you're awesome. The next time we're going to have to bill you. People are totally understanding of that because everyone forgets the contract they signed.
Right.
So don't assume that they know what the heck you're even talking about. So and that's it. I get very passionate about this, Ryan, because so many people are like, but my contract is one edit I'm like, yes, if you want to have a short-term vision, up to you, but they won't come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good advice there too. Um, you spend all this time and energy building a contract, you pay money, to
Uh-huh.
assume that they're looking at it as closely as you were when you were building it. But that's why it's so good. After we uh, book a job, we get on a phone call with their team and we kind of go through, hey, just so you guys know, you get two
Great
rounds of
job.
decisions, and we're recreating those expectations, making sure they're clear on them. Then we start editing, and we're mentioning, the rounds of revisions throughout the edit, and like, hey, just so you know, this is your last round. Anything beyond this is going to be extra, blah blah blah. So make sure you're hearing back from all of your team, and you're not waiting to give it to your CEO after it's been approved and we finished it and we sent it to you. This is that time to get that feedback right now, right? So that's
Yep.
learn from mistakes, because we made plenty of those. And
And you've nailed it, Ryan. We just started doing an onboarding call
Mm.
last year. It has solved so many issues
Oh yeah.
that our clients had no idea about because we didn't tell them it was an issue. So we require a 35-minute, I make it 35 minutes just so that they don't book another call after it, right? So it's a required video chat and I hold it to it. And I do this after I get their money, right? Then I put my foot down. I require this call. I have my whole team on it. We have a 15 slide deck. We go through expectations. We go through what would happen. They meet the team, right? We go through expectations. Hey, if you don't give it to us within 2 days, it's going to be final. We know that those 2 days turn into 5 days. That's fine. But after 5 days, it's just, it's, if people realize
Realize
that
that
contracts are never printed on, this is going to sound weird, but on a hardbound book, what's it called? Like a, the point is be flexible with your contract. It's on paper, so you can bend it so that they'll come back to you. And I feel like so many videographers, that's my rate and I deserve that. I'm like, you do, but don't you want them to come back as well?
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
So
if you can create stuff on the front end to not get to that spot where you're feeling like, and then also when you're inviting more than, if there's a team that you're working with, having whatever key people be a part of that conversation. Because I know back in the day, I would talk to the communications person. She would say, yeah, this is great. We'd send the contract. She'd sign the contract. Then we'd start the job. And then other team members would start to, they'd show up, they'd be on the shoot, they'd be part of the revision process. And we're like, yeah, this is the first time we've ever met this. But okay, well, cool. We could get that person on that kickoff call or that onboarding call. And then we're telling the team, hey, you get 2 rounds of revisions. And hey, there's this and that. And then it's not one person having to remember, all of the things. So there's some accountability for their team as well, which is super, super helpful, because then it can easily be like, well, you never told us that we only got 2 rounds of revisions. It's like, well, we did. It's in the contract. We said it on the kickoff call. Tina, Tanya, and Tommy were all there and they heard it too.
And also I think it comes down to, we need to understand that why should they go with us again? Because we made it easy. And I feel like if we do the onboarding call, and Ryan, something else, I'm happy, I lost my thought, but now I'm back. If people hop on a monthly scheduled 15-minute Zoom call with everyone you work with, half the time there are no updates, but we just talk about life. We talk about their dog. We talk about their baby. People want to work with people they like. And if you keep everything to email, they're not going to actually like you. So hop on a video chat. We have a scheduled, it's the same, it's the first Tuesday, let's say at 8 a.m. each month. Hey, how are the edits doing? Oh, they're good. You want us to film somewhere? Okay, no. Half the time we're just catching up about life. So when budget cuts come up and they want to cut us, oh, we can't cut corporate filming. Man, they're like ingrained in us. So it's all these things. I'm giving away the secrets we just learned like the last 2 years. If people listening would just do that, clients will come back to you and you'll be able to charge more because you're doing things that other videographers aren't doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to, before we're done here, I would love for you to just talk about how you guys get these videos done quicker. I know that's something that you guys promise, crazy, but I'm curious to know, like, any secrets to your process.
So I'm smiling at people that are listening because it was hell to get to the point where we can guarantee videos turned back in 5 to 10 days. And it was hell in a good way. It was, what do we need to do to be able to pump these out, right? And I also listen to people's pain points. Oh, my video took months. Oh, my wedding video took 6 months, which is insane to me. My corporate video took months. And it comes down to resources solve everything. If you have another body, you're filming that shoot in a month. Why are you waiting to edit it 2 months after? Have an editor or you edit it. So we were able to do that, Ryan, because we have editors waiting. So I took on the risk of the overhead of having editors waiting to edit. That's how we can guarantee that, is we have people waiting to edit. and we can start immediately. We all know films take what, 2 days to make, let's say, to do the first round, to do the first draft. Why are you not having somebody waiting to edit? It's just that's how we did that, and that's how we win so many deals, Ryan, is we say if we film on Monday, your video is going to be sent to you the following Friday. They're like, what? Are you kidding me? That's differentiate yourself, people listening. If you say you film, everybody films. I think I saw on a website there are 57,000 videographers in the US. Why should somebody choose you? And that's what made us scream, no travel fees, monthly videos, and you wait only 5 to 10 days for your films. That's how we scaled. So advice to people listening, what are your 3 big things that make you different? And if you don't know what that is, I would try and solve that in the next 15 days.
Or
so
5 to 10 days. You know?
Or 10 days. 10 days. That's a great joke. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm happy for your success, and sounds like you guys got a lot of cool stuff going. I love this niche. I think it's going to really open the eyes of a lot of people that hear your perspective and how you guys are doing business. How can people follow you and see what else you've got going on?
Yeah, you can email me, Trevor, Trevor, at corporatefilming.com. You could also find me on Instagram, Twitter, just my first and last name, and find me on LinkedIn. I would love to give advice to new people that are filming. I wish I knew what I knew 5 years ago. So I would love to help people do that. So
love that. Yeah. Any parting words or last thoughts before we go?
Ooh, parting. I did not prep for that, but that's good. This is authentic, unscripted answers. See, it comes down to, Ryan, if you do what everyone else does, why should somebody choose you? You're literally, so then it goes down to how much you charge. Like so you need to be able to scream in your email signature, your website, your email campaign. What are 3 things that make you different than the guy down the road that's $1,000 less? That's the one thing I would love to see from people listening.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. Trevor, thank you, man. This was fun. Appreciate you, and hope to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I would love to hear your biggest takeaway. Leave a comment and tell me, have you been thinking about adding some kind of a subscription model to your business? Maybe you already have something like that. And if so, what is it, or what do you think it could be if you're dreaming and thinking about this idea? Leave a comment, let us know. Also, if you are not a part of our Facebook group, I would love for you to check it out. This community that we are building, we're better together. We are here to help each other, to learn from each other in our video businesses, and we're here to grow wildly successful businesses together. So check it out. You can go to Facebook and just search for Grow Your Video Business, or if you go to studiosherpas.com/Facebook, it'll take you to the group, and we'd love to see you inside there. Come in, put your toes in. The water's warm. I don't know what is that. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you next time on the show. Until then, keep on climbing, and we'll see you soon. Back when I started my video company, stock footage, it used to be the worst. It was terrible quality, super cheesy shots, and really small selection, and it was really expensive. That is not the case with Storyblocks. They offer affordable subscription plans to their enormous library of stock footage, and with their unlimited access plan, you get access to the whole library, including HD and 4K footage. They've got After Effects and Premiere Pro templates, music, images, sound effects, and more. Seriously, there is tons. There have been so many projects where our team just needed one extra shot. You know, maybe the day after the shoot, the client was like, hey, this would have been a great thing to get. And we're like, ah. Or in post-production, they're like, hey, you know what would be a really cool shot? We've saved our clients and ourselves a ton of money and headaches and heartaches. And we've saved a couple of projects that just needed that one special shot with our Storyblocks subscription. Head over to storyblocks.com/studiosherpas to help you create more video with their affordable subscriptions.